Hey everybody, this is Romi with The Real Romi, and I am here with Maggie. And just for anyone tuning in, Maggie is on social media putting a ton of content out there about health and fitness and building muscle. And my gym partner, who I love, sent me your account. And she was like, you have to follow her account. You have to see what she's saying. And I just want to open it up with thank you for the information you're putting out there for those
You're
of us
welcome.
women and moms and girls who are trying to just wrap our heads around what we're supposed to do. I'm super passionate about fitness and health. I'm in nutrition school right now. I know you're a nutrition coach. So I just want to say thank you. And I reached out to you so randomly and said, may I interview you? And your first reaction was, I'm a little nervous about that.
Yes.
Tell
Yeah,
me
I
why.
like being on your end. I
Okay.
like asking the questions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I'm much more comfortable in that area.
Okay.
So I might ask you a few questions too. Heck, who knows what's gonna happen?
Mine as well. This is a real, interview conversation. That's why I wanted this page. So when I created this page and I told you it's about finding those celebrities in the world that I find inspiring doing the work that we don't give enough attention and credit to, right? We're so focused on so many different pages and there's people like you that are like putting these messages and this information out there and I want to celebrate that. So I just have these conversations with people that I find identity wise who are wrapping themselves around something. And to me, and I'll ask you this, like when I go to your page and your identity, I see a strong woman who's educated herself and finds a lot of identity around fitness and health.
That
But you,
I love hearing you call me a strong woman.
yes.
That it actually makes me a little emotional.
Oh,
Oh, I'm already gonna cry. Look what you're doing.
yeah. Tell me why that makes you emotional.
Well, you know, I'll I hope that the message that we relay to your viewers is,
Mhm.
I don't have this just outstanding story, but I think what sometimes there's power in just being relatable because I think really
Yes.
I think just my story is really relatable. The more I
Yes.
talk about this, the more I realize how many women have felt the same way I have felt. And we're
Yes.
just running, 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 going, going, going. We're
Yeah.
raising our babies, giving them all we have. Um, our marriages are falling off the cliff right and left.
Girl, preach it,
Yeah.
please. Preach it louder. Yes.
Luckily, I found mine, but it took
Yes.
a long time. Um, and I've never thought of myself as strong, or I never realized how important it was to be strong. I wanted to be skinny.
This is why I love your page. Thank you for saying that. And I want to hear your journey because really big, my focus is to tell women right now, we come from a generation of being these weak little skinny things. And that's beauty. And that's what we were striving to be. And it is so backwards. So I see women like you saying strong over skinny. And I'm like, louder, louder for the next generation. I'm raising a little girl. May she grow up with this message as opposed to the one you and I probably grew up with, right?
Yes. And I would give anything. I have a daughter too. I would give anything to be. I did the best I could with what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think innately I've always known that.
Yeah.
But for myself, we're not as nice to ourselves as we are to our kids.
No.
So to myself, every time I've lost the same 50 to 60 pounds 5 times, that is 250 pounds. That is two of me in body weight.
Okay.
And I've
Yeah.
gained it 5 times. Well, now just 4 times. So I've gained 200 pounds. I've done that to myself. And every time I lost it, I told myself, I'm going to get skinnier than I've ever been. Like that was my goal
Mm,
every time. And
mm.
this last time, I think I was finally at the bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
I knew something had to be different. I I was going at it from a different standpoint. I'd never dove in thinking I want health. I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
It wasn't about being skinny anymore. I was desperate enough that I thought, okay, obviously what I was doing wasn't working. It came back worse every time. I was more depressed, more anxious,
Mm-hmm.
felt less like myself, cut
Mm-hmm.
off people from my life. I mean, just the dimensions that affects in your life, feeling unhealthy and unwell,
Yep.
you know, relationships, your body. So this time, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, nope, this time I'd been on antidepressants for 27 years.
Mhm.
And not until I stood at the window meeting my grandbaby for the first time through a window, because it was during COVID.
Mhm.
And my daughter took a picture. She's a photographer, and she happened to have her camera, and she snapped a picture of me meeting my son-in-law holding my little grandbaby. And I had my hands over my face. And I remember feeling happier than I felt. It was so many emotions. It was
Yeah.
a really sad time. I wasn't
Yeah.
able to be there with her, but here I was meeting this beautiful, perfect child.
Yep.
And I remember on the way home thinking, I didn't cry. I did not cry. And I wanted to cry. I wanted to feel that.
Why
And
didn't you?
I had been living flat for 27 years. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I belly laughed for 27 years. I used to be proud of, oh, I never cry. I don't cry. I was proud of that. And at that moment, I realized, oh, I am missing something really big.
Yep.
I really
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
And so it was the next day. The next day, I had already been dabbling. How can I make myself better? And the next day was the first day I'm like, I'm in. I'm doing this. And with 3 months, I was off my antidepressants. And I don't say this casually. I know there's so many people that it is
Yes.
life-saving.
Yeah,
For
I
me,
agree.
at times, it was life-saving.
But
But at that point,
Mhm.
I was done with that. And I
Yep.
wish my doctors would have known better. I wish I would have known better. I learned a lot. We're gonna chalk it up for that.
That particular like subject I could go on for a
Yes.
very long time. That specific thing, which is so controversial because nobody wants to say no to antidepressants or medication, right? For needed things. And I'm not against them. I've been on them since I was 13 years old. I've struggled with depression since I hit adolescence. I want to put this out there louder for anyone listening. I think you can relate to this, and even to the people I'm coaching. When I wanted to get healthy for health reasons, and I started that journey over the last like 2 years, I have, if somebody would have offered me this advice as a young girl, I can't even imagine how much of my life I would have had back with joy that was just completely taken from me while every doctor prescribed every medication, every hospital, everything to me, and nothing worked until I got healthy, started lifting, started meditating, started taking care of the foods I was eating. Like, it all had to do with my anxiety and my depression. It's so much bigger.
It's so much bigger. And it's so crazy how there's a doctor for every different, you can go speak to, which I'm all for talk therapy.
Yes.
But none of them talk to each other. None
No.
of them realize, oh, as a whole, we should be working on this. Not just this little part, and not just this little part. So yeah, the system's messed
why
up.
aren't any of these doctors, and I say this all the time, I go to therapy, I do coaching, I have clients, right? I tell my clients this part of it, like the mental exercise and the physical exercise and the nutrition part of it, without it, it is a bunch of band-aids. Like,
Yes.
without it, it is a bunch of temporary band-aids. And why aren't our doctors asking us in our offices, like with them, what are you eating this week? How did you work out this week? Are you sleeping? Are you meditating? Like, no one.
No. And it's so crazy. I just read something, I think it was yesterday. I maybe even posted it, that if your dog's depressed or anxious, you take your dog to the vet, and the first thing the vet asks is, what is your dog eating? Like, that hit me like a ton of bricks.
No, I don't think my doctor's ever asked me,
No.
what's your diet this week? Let's look at what you're getting enough of, what you're missing. Are you drinking enough? No one.
No. And it's really not even their fault. They spent, what do they say? Like an average of 10 hours on nutrition. They'll be the first ones to admit it. Yeah. Which it's really not their fault.
How many doctors right now are speaking up, even female doctors, right? That are really speaking up saying, we were not educated. We did not spend enough time we are now figuring it out for ourselves as
Yes.
women, what women need, right? And our hormones and everything that's happening. I'm going into, I'm in my 40s, like things are changing. Like women, doctors don't know how to talk to us about these things. And we're
No.
seeking our own like education right now. Thank God, right?
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
God. So when you say you went to it for a health reason, I hear you. And when you say that that really changed your mental health as well, it's
Like
been
within
how
3 months, it was night and day. Like my husband, he calls me Maggie 2.0 because he's like, hey, like you're new. Like
yeah.
this, who
Yes.
is this person?
Yes.
And I like a marriage that like I was waiting for my last child to move out because I thought we'll probably just end this. Like I
Yeah.
really care about him, but it's
Yeah.
like I really was having those thoughts.
That's another super common thing right now where families are just
Yes.
waiting till their kids are done so they can
Yeah.
break up and people are miserable.
Yes. And it's so like we've had the best. I'm like, oh, I almost gave this up. Had I just kept going on the path I was on, and some people have, I again do not say this casually either. Some people are in marriages they need to get away from.
Amen. And I thank you for
Yes.
saying that. And I
Yeah.
want anyone listening, can there be more permission
Yeah.
around
Please. Yeah.
divorce? Because some of you are jeopardizing your mental health, your children,
Yes.
everybody's by being so afraid of that. Right.
Yes.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
So I realized that I had a special situation, and I happen to have someone who lived with a flat wife
Yeah.
for I really didn't even now I cry and laugh at weird times because
Yeah.
I
Same.
honestly think I didn't learn how to regulate those
Yeah.
emotions. So weird
Yeah.
stuff happens to me now. But I can feel really happy and I can feel really sad. And if I
Mhm.
need to cry, I
Same.
can cry. And
Yes.
it is so much healthier. And it feels so good to be able to feel that way. I really forgot. Well, during the most important while I was having my kids, the
Yeah.
year prior, my son had been diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that was hard.
Yeah.
That was but again, I didn't feel what I should feel like. So
Do you feel
I
your
didn't,
nervous system is different now because of how you're taking care
yes.
of yourself? Do you feel that might be a reason why you're able to access different emotions again?
Yeah, I think I have to think more about, okay, why am I feeling this way? Because I used to just not feel anything. I really just went throughout my day. Just didn't feel, I mean, I felt happy and sad, but flatly. Like
Yeah.
that's the best way to, I was a pancake.
Hmm.
I just didn't, I really didn't look forward to a lot of things. I
Hmm.
didn't really, I mean, I didn't have a big drive. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do with my life either. I mean, I wanted to raise my kids. I wanted
Yeah. Yeah.
20 years prior. I mean, I was living a whole different life. And we moved to this little town so I could raise my babies. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give everything to my kids, but I did. I didn't save anything.
So
And that
I
hurt.
I think so much like that's my biggest thing is being a mom. It saved my life, right? So for my mental health, when God gave me a baby, it was almost like I'm going to give you something that's going to change your whole life. It's going to give you a reason and a why because you haven't
Mm-hmm.
found the reason and why in yourself. I didn't find it in me ever. So all of a sudden I had this child and I was like, I have a reason, right? I have this why, like, thank you, Lord. And I immediately got into fitness after having her, right? And that's where I found my journey with fitness, trying to like find my identity as a woman now and as a mom now. And I think I've learned over the last few years how much I missed those first few years really taking care of me, right? And overly taking care of everyone around or our babies and stuff. But like women finding their own self-love and worth, even through fitness, even through getting up and taking care of them, lifting those weights, eating a certain way, it changes how we show up for our children. And I think that message too is so like women are told they're selfish, right? Or they're self-consumed,
Mm-hmm.
or their kids, their babies.
I thought I was.
Yeah, we're trained
I
to
felt
think that
guilty. Yeah.
guilty, that we
Mm-hmm.
need this time, right?
Yeah.
But
I'd go for a run and feel guilty. Oh, I
yeah,
should have been helping the kids with their homework.
yeah,
Like always, this guilt
yes,
just
yes,
circulating. And then the self doubt. And then And then the depression kicks in more.
Yep.
And then your self-worth goes down more. It's just this
Yep.
horrible cycle.
So, like, how do you then, with you've come through this health journey, right? You've had this aha moment, your mental health is better, you're off your antidepressants. How do you get the voice that you have gotten over the last few years in this journey to put out the content that you're putting out there?
Well, the more I learned and the more people noticed, they're like, hey, what's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was started to come to me, what are you doing? Like,
yes,
what?
It happens. It
Yes,
happens. Yes.
yes. And I thought I need a platform. Like, I've got to do something.
Yes.
And I was, my last child had just moved out. I'm like, I actually have some time. I should do something.
Yeah.
And it was called, like, there was a deep seated, I've got to do something. And I was listening to a podcast one day, and someone was on there talking about how they went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition
Mm-hmm.
and what they learned, and I thought that I started crying immediately, because I cry at weird times now.
Yeah.
Called my husband and said, I got to do this. He said, do it. Let's do it.
Yes.
So I paid the money, did it. And then it just kept happening. But now I had a platform. Hey, I'm certified.
Mm-hmm.
I can take you. So people just started coming, and lives started changing. Mm-hmm. And the most important thing that I think I learned about myself is I really thought I was a hermit. Like, I don't like people. People are scary. They make me feel weird. I don't want anything to do with them. And I've missed out. Mm-hmm. I've missed out on I love people. I have so much to learn from people.
I can relate to that. So I'm in nutrition now. And so I got my coaching certification for coaching clients, like life coaching, about a year ago. And then I've just been really passionate in posting my workouts and my fitness journey, right? And like you, people are drawn. So then my clients are now coming to me for more of that. And so I'm like, oh, okay, they're really looking at me from what I'm putting out there, and they're interested on how I'm living my life healthy. So then I was like, I need to get certified in coach and in nutrition.
Yes.
I can't be offering something. I can't be offering this kind of like lifestyle advice without like, proper knowledge. So I'm in the class right now, and I'm fascinated. I love it. It's the most fascinating information. I just eat up nutrition and I love learning about it. And I'm offering it in a slow way right now with my clients, right? But like you said, so I'm very much a loner and stick to myself and do my thing. I find a lot of beautiful joy in coaching people. Yes. In actually having like these relationships and watching them change their lives. I find it is the most serving, rewarding thing to be able to assist somebody in some joy in their life. Like, to
it's so rewarding.
Something that I know has worked for me, right? And maybe it'll work through them as we have these conversations. And when they are changing their lives, those kind of relationships, those meaningful relationships, and watching people care are the types of things I love, as opposed to just being out and socializing or in awkward situations, like actual, like even something like this, like just getting to know people's stories.
Yes.
Right.
And you feel much less alone. That's the first thing. I didn't feel like I was just this loner, thinking nobody's like me. No one gets me. I just need to stay away from people. And then I always walk away from these situations with clients, and I probably dive in. I give them my all. Yeah. That's just the way I am. I'm going to give you my all, and we're going to do this together. But I always walk away feeling like they fed me more than I fed them. Yeah.
Same. And there's something about, when you're in your own space too, you jump on a call with a client and you're helping them through this, you leave it also coaching yourself. Yes. Right. Also as a reminder to yourself. And then the days that I feel like I just can't do it, I remind myself of what I would tell someone else, or that they're watching, or that I hold some accountability to the people that are looking to me for that motivation. And I know that that's like that God gave me that gift, right? And gave you that gift, that you motivate people, you reach people.
Yes. So and sometimes there's a lot of pressure with it, but I really do walk the talk.
You do.
Like I am not.
And you can see it.
Yeah, well, and I hope so.
Yes.
I really don't in any way ever want to feel like a fraud.
Mm-mm.
Like I genuinely believe what I'm teaching and sharing with these people. And
Same,
you can look at my grocery cart when you run
same,
into me at the grocery store,
same.
and you'll see. And I would tell you to get the same things.
Yep.
Like it
Yes.
really, I really try to be as transparent as possible with that
I think there's
and
so
honest.
much. Okay, the life coaching, nutrition coaching is such a saturated market, right? It's everywhere right now. It's all over the place. And I said
Oh,
this, and I appreciate you with your vulnerability to your story and your mental health prior to this, because everyone's getting certified and everything. That's fine. That's great.
mhm.
But I tell my clients, and I'm not conventional or traditional, and I don't look like somebody that they may go get coaching from, right? But like, I'm doing the work with you. I'm doing what I'm talking to you about, and I have the same type of life experience, right? That I can understand how difficult this is. It's not
Yes.
just a certification that I got to then help you and post my photos on Instagram, right? That make me look like an influencer. But like, I've been there and I've seen the miracles that happen from it. And I just want to share it with you.
And those are probably the ones that come to you, the
A
ones
hundred
that see
percent.
that in you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's what I hope that it's the middle-aged mom who's starting to be a grandma, taking care of her ailing parents,
Yes.
had a career, had kids are
Yes.
moving out. I hope those are the ones that are drawn to me because I will be able to help them
Yeah.
even more.
You've done the work. So I look at what I love about your social media account is that you take some of the podcasts that I love, that I follow. I've seen your clips, and those are the people that are changing my life, that have inspired me, that are educating me, that make me go down the rabbit hole, right? You're taking their clips and you're putting their voices and their message over you in the gym working out. It's this great knowledge of watching your transformation, watching you work, and then the actual scientific like evidence and advice
Yeah, you got
put
to put
over
it to the
you.
test. Like,
So
does this really work or not?
how did you come up with that, and what was your idea behind that?
Well, I've just been so frustrated. So I've posted all this information thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
Not until I jumped on their coattails.
Uh-huh.
I have to use, no one's going to listen to me.
Right.
Like, not when you're starting out.
Right.
No
Right.
one
Right.
trusts me yet. They don't
Right.
know me. So if
Right.
I have to borrow someone's face, I
Uh-huh.
will still add my information. I'm going to ride on their coattails. I am.
It's genius. It's genius. And I want to honor that and also give like, like different ways of people approaching, hey, I have a message. I want to share my message. I'm living it. I'm proof of it. How do I, reach you? And you went ahead and you took their voices, and the content is so visual and like easy to comprehend what you're trying to, get across.
Well, I hope so, because this is the information I'm sharing with people all the time. So
Yeah.
when you can actually see it, like when you actually lift, you actually get muscle. When you fuel your body right,
Mhm.
you get muscle. You feel better. You're mentally well. You're
Mhm.
socially well.
Mhm.
You're spiritually well. Your relationships improve. So
I mean, everything. That's the point that I want. I have a few things on health that I want to ask you about, and just some information for anyone tuning in that maybe doesn't follow these types of pages or isn't interested in any of this, because I want to get that message clear to people. But I, more than anything, because I feel it and I live it, and I hear you saying it, and I'm just so grateful. More than anything, it's just the overall mental health space of lifting weights and eating clean foods is marriages, kids, school, depression, bullying, like all the things in our world that we are seeing. If everybody was taking the time to do this, I do believe it would just eliminate so much, like for our families.
it really comes down to, I mean, it's just the golden rule. If you can love yourself, then it can spill over.
Yes.
It really is a golden rule.
Yes. So
So
when you
you show
started
your,
to, you ended up giving to your marriage more, right? Your marriage is
yes,
worked out.
yes.
You're still together. You didn't end up
Well,
leaving. Like you guys are happy.
yes, it's a marriage I never even thought possible. Like we look at each other all the time. We're like, what is going on? Like what is happening? We talk about it all the time.
Uh-huh.
And it's just at first we're like, okay, maybe this is just a phase. We're
Uh-huh.
just like falling back in love,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
it's been like a good 3 years now. Like, I think it's going to stick. I think we're good. And
Tell me what really you think did that. I have a few friends I know and people I'm working with where their marriages are what you were saying before. How do you think that that worked? Like,
well, I think I started taking care of myself. My happiness was up to me.
hmm,
It really, if he wants to contribute, that's okay. But I started feeling confident and brave. And if I can love me, then he can too.
hmm,
Maybe he really does love me because
hmm,
I think I do love myself now.
hmm.
So maybe he really does. I think just those things started
Okay.
falling into place.
Okay.
And
Does your
just
husband live a healthy lifestyle like this
yes,
too?
he's always right
Okay.
there with me. And that
Yeah.
really helps too. I mean, you and I coach couples.
Yeah.
They're actually my favorite to coach
Hmm.
because when they have that with each other, they
Hmm.
do they have like 100% success
Yes.
rate
Yes.
because
Yes.
they're just lifting each other. It's so
Like
that's my
louder,
favorite. Yeah.
louder, because I've always like whenever I've been in a relationship, and that's not my strength in life at all. I'm still working through that part. But whenever I
I
was
just
in,
lucked out.
yeah, whenever when I work out with someone, that's always been my healthiest like space with somebody. I enjoy being healthy with someone, practicing
Yes.
those things with someone. And now on my list of like my checklist, right? Whoever my next person is out there in the world, it is like, do you work out? Do you care about this? Can we do this together? Because it's like you got to be aligned and yoked in that way of like
You do. I can't
life.
imagine. I don't know what it would look like. I would probably be out looking for someone else. That
Yeah,
would just mean nothing really lined
yeah,
up. I
yeah.
mean, if that's not lining up,
But
because that
I want people.
exemplifies so many other things.
Yes, yes. I want people to know though that like a marriage can turn around, that you are witness to this, you've seen it by loving yourself, and that like we spoke about earlier, you're not selfish for taking this time for you that pulls you away from your family or your children. It's in fact the complete opposite.
Exactly. And that was a huge light bulb moment
Mhm,
when that finally lit up.
mhm.
Oh, that I'm a better grandma, I'm a better mom.
Yes,
I'm setting a better example
yes.
for my family.
When we were growing up, I don't know, I'm 42. When I was growing up, I remember the moms, they all just kind of let themselves go, right? They'd have babies and they let themselves go. And everyone looked a lot older at a very young
Mm-hmm.
age. Like, when you look back, I'm like, wow, they were
Yeah.
my age, right? Like,
Yes.
wow, no one looks at that anymore because
Mm-mm.
it's a different time. And like you said, like my daughter watches me. I get up at 4:30 and I work out every morning so that it's done, so that I can, because it's a non-negotiable for me, right? So
Yeah.
my daughter knows that, right? Like she's watching me. Every now and then
Mm-hmm.
she'll come in and pretend to lift weights or do a workout with me.
That's
She's
so cute. How old
little.
is she?
She's 8.
That's
And I'm
adorable.
just like, she's watching this, she's taking this in. But I make sure with my verbiage, because I grew up with different verbiage, to let her know mommy's doing this to get strong. Mommy's doing this
I
to
love
build
that.
muscles. Mommy's doing this so she lives a really long, healthy life. Mommy's
And
not doing all
and
this to
really,
be
like, that's
skinny.
just logical. Like,
Yes.
why didn't we know that? I I don't know. I don't know.
So, what do you think shifted recently? Why do you think everyone is now finally getting the knowledge that women need to lift weights and eat their protein? And like, when did this happen?
Well, research finally, but of course, it always takes like 20 years for research to finally surface. But I think social media is huge. I
Mhm.
mean, our doctors aren't telling us. Where
Mm-mm.
else are we getting it?
Right.
We
We're
are
not getting,
getting it
yes.
from social media.
Yep.
And we're
Yep.
telling our doctors, hey, you should know this.
Yeah.
And so for sure, that's what people are asking questions and they're seeing it, they're putting it to the test.
I have been posting, and I'm going to say it loud, and I'm sure you can. I'm eating more food than I have ever eaten in my
Same.
entire life.
I eat like a trucker now.
Yeah. My friend goes, how did you get 60 grams of protein this morning? I was go, let me show you what I ate this morning. Like, I'm not looking like this because I'm starving for the first time. I'm looking
Yeah.
like this because I am fueling the shit out of myself. And
Yes.
then I'm working out and lifting weights, and my jeans are baggy,
Yes. Because
right?
you are
Like,
metabolically well. Your body is finally innately the size and functioning the way it was meant to. Finally.
Yesterday I had a moment and I sat there and I was like, I am finally actually in the body that I was supposed to be in.
Yes.
This is actually my body eating as many calories, hitting all my nutrition and macros, working out, not starving. Like, this is wow.
Yeah. Healing itself, just doing what it really is supposed to do if we give it the tools it needs.
So what is your take then on this whole protein kick that we are all increasing our protein?
Big fan.
Okay, same. I just want to hear your.
Yes, that's the first thing. The first thing I ask, how much protein? And everyone thinks they're eating enough.
I know.
And when you actually look at it, they're like, oh, really?
And it's hard. It's hard.
They all want to drop dead when I tell them, well, you've got to get like 120 grams and actually probably a little more. Like they can't believe it. But then also after 3 to 6 months, and at first they think it's impossible. I don't even know how to do that. How do I even do that?
Yep.
And within a couple of weeks, they figure it out. And then they start immediately feeling better. Because what happens when you start prioritizing protein? You quit craving all the crap. And that just starts crowding out. It's so crazy how it all happens. You're just eating whole real food. I don't
crave anything anymore. And I eat almost the same foods pretty much every day. I switch them a little bit, right? But I also fast. I don't know. So
I fast as well.
Okay, fasting.
And I don't think it's for everyone, but I enjoy it for myself.
Me too.
It depends on what your goals are and where you're at.
Yeah. Okay. That fasting has really changed my life because I'm not craving throughout the day or night. I've got everything I need. And then my body is kind of resting and letting itself, rest
and digest and
digest. Heal. Exactly. And so then when I wake up, I'm an early person. That works for me. That's my heavy food. My heavy time is during the day. I work out during the day. That works for me. But I think for so many, even one of my clients now said, I'm not craving like junk food at night anymore. But I've been doing the screenshot your groceries. Let me see what you're buying.
Oh, awesome.
They'll show me
when you're idea.
When you're at the grocery store, show me a photo of what you bought.
I love that.
Right. So they'll send me that. And then they're eating these whole foods and it does remove the cravings.
Well,
trash.
It's the protein hypothesis, the protein leverage hypothesis theory.
Tell me.
That's just been proven over and over through every species that if an animal has its protein needs met, it's not foraging to find other things. We are the very same. Yes. If our protein needs are met and we're getting the full spectrum of amino acids, our nutrient needs are met. We don't need to forage for anything else. Less trips to the pantry. It just happens. It really does just happen. There might be some emotional eating and some triggers you've got to deal with.
Yeah.
But physically, your needs are met.
So what you posted that got me onto your page that hit me, and I shared it with a bunch of my friends who we're all in our 40s, we're all moms, we're all trying to like change things, right? You posted this video of holding the weights and walking with a certain amount of weights and stating that like when you're older, you're not going to be able to like open your jars, right? You're going to be either in a home or you're going to be able to open your jars if you can start lifting. Every one of us visually was like, fuck. Okay. Because the getting older is becoming real. We're watching our parents get sick, right? We're watching people that didn't do this get sick. And I'm thinking, I want to be independent and be a good grandmother and be around for my daughter's life and living on my own and taking care of myself. This is more than like, I want to be Mary Kate and Ashley from, the 90s.
Yeah. No, you want to contribute.
I want to be able to help and show up. So I need to lift those, right? I need to be able to do push-ups and lift my body. I need to be able to lift a certain amount of weight so that I can take care of myself, right?
Yes.
So that message that you're putting out there is hitting so many of us. All of us started going back and being like, can we lift this, right? Like, are we able to do this so that we can get stronger? So in terms of a message to anyone listening about this, not only changing your mental health, changing the body to be where you feel best, how is this lifting heavier, eating your protein, having the right nutrition, really benefiting women as we get older?
Well, I think that we're nurturers. I mean, just overall, we're nurturers, and we look. I never want to be a burden.
No.
To anyone.
No.
I don't.
Same.
And I have parents, both my husband's parents and my parents, they're getting there right now.
Yep.
And I know they don't want to be a burden, but they didn't have the knowledge
No, same. My parents are getting
we
there.
have.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's hard and
Mhm.
sad to watch. And
It
that
is.
happened really fast.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know I'm going to be there way faster than I realize.
Mhm.
And I'm just barely starting this phase that is so far the funnest phase.
Yes.
It is so fun.
Yes.
I
I
have
agree.
4 grandbabies and they just run to me with their open arms.
Oh,
And people told me, they
uh-huh.
tried to warn me, like, no, you're going to love it. I'm like, yeah, I know. But you can't even explain it.
I can't
It's,
wait. I cannot wait.
it is incredible. I
Yeah.
just can't even explain it. So I want to do this for as long as I can.
Yes.
I feel like my life's just starting, and I am training for retirement. So many people, the month before they retire, either die or get diagnosed with cancer.
My
Like 80% of the time.
100%. My father, died of cancer right before he turned 60. So I
Yeah.
watched that. My
Ugh,
mother,
I'm
her health is
sorry.
struggling. She's in her 60s right now and trying to repair it as she's in it,
Yes.
fighting for the repair. Well,
Yeah. And it's a little, she can still, but it's a little late.
yeah. And so I
Yeah.
see that, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's my opportunity. What are you going to do with this, right? You're going to start now and make sure you're not there trying to fix it later. And I tell people this as well. We're either going to pay what they say it all the time. We're going to pay for the
Yep.
help in the hospitals and the medicine, or we're going to pay for the good foods and the things that we need to do right now. It may be a little bit more for something clean and organic to eat, but like what you're paying for after that, if you don't,
Yeah. Well, and really, junk food's kind of pricey.
it
It might be easier,
yes, but
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 it's
I
kind
don't
of
eat out.
pricey.
I don't eat out, so I'm not spending as much money because I'm prepping and
Mm-hmm.
cooking so much of my food at home.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is like saving me money, right? In terms of this, but I want to prevent that downfall and trying to rescue myself once I'm in it, you know?
Yes. And I
And
think part of that's understanding just how the body works. Because they
but
were
nobody
told,
does.
no, if you have a symptom, take this pill. Not, hey, let's look further upstream, see what's causing the symptom, and let's get it there.
Yeah.
That never happens. And they still, like, I talk to my mom and my mother-in-law, they're like, well, no, I'm taking this pill, but then taking this pill to combat the side
Yeah.
effects for this pill. Like, it just is
It's
ongoing. And their
every time
brains
every
are
time
stuck in that.
I hear somebody leave and they're like, "Oh, my doctor says I need this." And and I'm not against it. I'm just like, okay, so just another pill for another pill. Our kids are all
Mm-hmm.
on pills, right? So my daughter,
Yes.
I focus on her eating clean too. She's got a great appetite. She doesn't know anything
Awesome.
different because I'm feeding her these foods, right? So
Yeah.
she's eating salmon and,
Oh, I
mushrooms,
love it. And she's learning to love
salads.
it.
She loves it because this
Yes.
is all she knows. We don't do
Mm-hmm.
fast food. We don't do processed food. So she's aware, when people ask her favorite meals and stuff and she talks about a trout, they're like,
It's like, what?
she loves sushi,
Say
she
what?
loves, yeah, quinoa. Like this is what she's eating because
I love that.
I want her to grow up with this being normal, right? This being healthy and normal. But like what I see is like all the medication and all the antidepressants and everything out there. And I'm telling you, I've been through every one of them and every type of therapy for most of my life. And my nervous system, and that's why I was glad you shared that, is I did a breath work class as well, right? I learned about breath work. I got trained in that. That changed my life. I
Awesome.
wish somebody would have taught me how to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free
Yep.
thing that I get to
That's the
do
thing.
for
And I think that's
myself.
why no one knows about this stuff is
Yeah,
the good stuff is
because it's
free.
free. It's all
Yeah,
free. If
absolutely.
I could have just learned that all my anxiety attacks that I called 911 for, that I thought I was dying over, okay, that I just needed to learn to breathe, to slow down, to meditate, to find my spiritual walk, whatever that may be, right? My love for me, and to work out that my whole nervous system, like you said, so you started to tap into emotions, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
went through this journey, as you're on this journey, you're able to tap into your feelings, right? And not
Yes.
just be
Well,
like,
and just learning about the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic state,
yep,
like how important it is. You've got to bring yourself down. When you love yourself enough, because it's so easy to say, I've got
yeah,
to de-stress. No,
yeah,
you need to actually
no,
cut out some stuff.
yep, Yes.
Like you need to start feeding your soul. You need to.
I removed
So
alcohol a year ago.
good for
And
you.
that
Congratulations.
allowed me, and it wasn't because I was like drunk, it just
Yeah.
allowed me to do the work in the way I needed to do the work, right? So now my nervous system, if things are chaotic, I'm actually thrown off. And I used to thrive in chaos. Like
Yes.
I
A
grew
lot of
up in
people
it.
do. That's how
I
they function.
That's how I function. I'm like, we are ready to like, let's fight, let's rile, like chaos, stress. It really was my like my safe space. Ever since doing just workouts and breath work and change of eating, I can't even handle it.
Isn't it crazy? And really,
I
like
can't
10
even handle
years
it.
ago, had I watched this conversation, I would think,
Yeah.
oh, they're being so woo-woo. Like
Yeah.
I really would have thought that. But when you
Why?
test it out and
Yeah.
you see it actually changes your life, you're like, oh, dang, there was something to that.
But I don't know how to like tell someone who isn't going through it that I promise. Like my first client that I had, she looked at me and she goes, "You are a little." She said those words. She goes, "You're woo hoo, like you're." And I was like,
Yeah, you out there.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
She's like, "You're out there." I've worked with her now for like probably almost a year, and she's doing all this stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, it works."
Yeah,
She's like, "You're gonna think I'm
I
crazy, and
guess
I
it
just did
does.
this."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You're not crazy." It's like it works.
Yes. And now, and when I figured out PubMed too, like you can hear all this stuff, but you can actually get on and read the studies yourself.
Yes.
Oh, this has actually been, there's scientific evidence. Okay, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And that's what I just want the message to be more is like put out there. And I'm so grateful for you, right? And being somebody relatable and authentic and sharing your story and like how it's changed your life because women are intimidated by the fitness influence that's out there, right? This standard visual that is not relatable. And instead they shut it and they beat themselves up over it, right? So the more women like yourself like getting out there and putting out just like this is my journey, this is where I was, this is how I did it, this is how I educated myself and explaining it makes it accessible to people that are afraid of it.
Yeah. Well, and they don't think they can get to. That's why I love to post the before pictures. Like, no, this and this wasn't actually ever my goal.
Yeah.
This was not my goal. I thought if I lose like 20 pounds, cool. If I like get into a size 8 or 10, whatever it was at the time, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to feel better. I wanted my heartburn to go away. I wanted my gut to quit
Yes.
killing me.
Same.
I was just going for that.
Same.
And then when I got there, I'm like, oh, that feels pretty good. Maybe I'll go a little further. And pretty soon I had a friend at the gym. She came up to me and she said, "Have you seen your back?" And I really thought I had a rash. I'm like, "Oh no, what?"
It was all your
She's like,
muscle.
"No,
I know.
give me your phone." She
Yeah.
took a picture and I was like,
That happened to
"What?"
me. That
I
happened
was
to
shocked.
me. Yes. That same thing happened
Isn't
to
it
me.
great? Like that was not my goal.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I could
So
not believe it.
I came out of a bad relationship and got into therapy to save my life so I could stop putting myself in toxic relaticships and started
Good for
working
you.
out and getting
Good.
sober. That was my goal, right? And it just organically turned into this. And
Just
now
happened.
I like, I don't know where it took me, but like, I'm here for
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, this feels pretty good. It feels really good to be
Right.
strong. I think I'll keep going with this.
I love it so much. I want to ask you this as our question because we're coming to an end, but how would you say that this whole experience has changed your identity?
Oh, wow. That's a big one. Well, I really don't know. Change my identity.
Do you identify as a different person today?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm a completely different person. That's why I don't know how to put it into
Yeah.
to words. For someone who I had every wall up, like I had 4 full thick brick walls, and I was just going to get through life, do my thing, give myself to my kids,
Mhm.
keep a clean home, get through life. You know, I I just thought that's what life was about. And those walls are down now.
Yeah.
They every once in a while they want to creep up, and I
Mhm.
still have to work through that.
Mhm.
But they are down.
Yeah.
I'm my heart. I would say I've gone from being closed to open. I want to learn, and I want to connect with people where that would have scared the crap out of me in the past. Just I'd start running as fast as I could. Nope.
Yep.
And that, I think that's what life's about, is our connection with people and what we can learn and share and love with other people. I really think that's what it's about.
It's interesting. I'm reading a book right now. I love quantum physics, and I love quantum physics, and I love Christianity. And it's a book about conversations with God. And they talked about the two things that are the biggest emotions and things. And they said, love is it. All they keep talking about is love is it. Whether you believe in like a Christian God or just the universal God or the God within you, that there's love and fear. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's it. Those are the two drivers.
That's it.
So
That's
pick
it.
one. And I went from fear to love.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And I just love that you said that and that you feel that, because I think that's an authentic reality that happens through that journey, right? And it's when you land in that love and you come out of that fear, right? And they're going to keep challenging each other over and over again.
Yeah. Always
right?
have to do a little self-talk.
Yeah.
Keep
and get
in the
through
right
that.
place.
I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing this. Will you please share where everybody can reach you, find you? I already have a friend I want to send to you.
Oh, you're so
share
nice.
where everyone can follow your journey.
Really on Instagram, I'm just funk underscore, so FUNC underscore health. And then my website, really, it's a long website. It's easier if you just Google me, but it's integrative underscore health underscore coach.com. So if you want to schedule a consultation or anything, that's where you can find me there. But you are just lovely. This has been so nice. It's been so nice to connect with you. And it's been fun just following. I've been trying to, and that's why this is hard. I have so many things I want to ask you.
Yeah.
One day, if I get a podcast, you'll be my first guest.
We'll do another one. You know what? I'm happy. We should jump on here and you ask me questions. Okay.
I do. There's so many things I want to ask you.
I would love to do that. So if you're open to that, we'll set one up.
I would love to.
Okay. So we'll schedule one. Then we'll flip this and you.
I would love to.
Let's do it. That would be so much fun. Okay. That's going to be our next one. I'm so happy to connect with you. We will do another interview, and thank you for following my journey and even your message yesterday about love watching me, what I'm posting, like that affirmation to me. Thank you, because I'm just trying to motivate people too. And when people let me know that it does in some way, it's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's that affirmation to keep doing it. It's just, I hope it touches someone.
You're just beautiful. It was just fun aesthetically to look at. Like you are just lovely. And just the way you put everything together. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're amazing. I will chat with you soon. And we will schedule you interviewing me.
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. Bye.
You take care. We'll see ya.
Bye.